The South Korean government is seeking to make changes to the investigative power system between the prosecution and police. It's part of the government's goal to reform the prosecution that has long been seen as corruption-ridden, taking advantage of its massive authority for their own interests. For more on this, we connect our Kim Min-ji standing by at the Seoul Government Complex. So Min-ji, what do the proposed changes entail?
Well, Ji-yoon, the reform measures are seen as aimed at balancing the power between the prosecution and the police by diluting the concentration of investigative powers in the prosecution. Now, for starters, the proposal calls for the prosecution and police to be in a reciprocal relationship. That is, they work hand in hand and focus on the expertise of their respective bodies. Now, the biggest change, no doubt, is the fact that police will be given more autonomy and responsibility in initial investigations. They will have the right to investigate as well as the authority to close a case. Now, something to note here is that this means the police will be able to determine whether to pursue indictment or not. Under the current system, police can open a case but cannot close it without approval from the prosecution, while all criminal investigations by police are required to be under the prosecutor's demand. Now, meanwhile, prosecutors will retain their authority to indict and will be required to focus on their primary role of prosecuting cases. They will also be required to play a more supplementary role in overseeing probes, but if necessary, they will be allowed to request further investigation into cases they deem necessary, or if the police in any case are found to have misused their power. Now, should a case involve a prosecutor or officials from the prosecution or the other way around, the prosecution will be required to request an arrest warrant if necessary. Now, this is to ensure a balance between the two organs.
The proposal will see the prosecution and police break away from the vertical system so they can cooperate and each take responsibility for people's safety and protecting human rights. This will enable each body to keep either in check and step up the efficiency of investigations.
Now, this is all part of the Moon Jae-in administration's goal to reform so-called organs of power, namely the prosecutor's office, police, and the country's intelligence agency. In fact, calls to overhaul the prosecution have been mounting as the country has gone through a long period of irregularities that have infuriated the public. Given the prosecutors' excessive powers, they've been known to taking advantage of the situation for their own personal or financial benefit in high-profile cases involving politicians and business tycoons. Now, the government has noted that the proposal will not be fully satisfactory to the prosecution nor the police, saying they must put in efforts to work around the changes so it does not spark internal feuds within their organizations. But the proposal is expected to face obstacles as Parliament now has the ball and needs to deliberate the details and draw up a bill. This has been Kim Min-ji reporting from the Seoul Government Complex.